Dal here, and we're going to be doing something that we've been putting on the back burner for quite a while. We want to review a film called Casablanca. It came out in November of 1942 in New York, and it didn't come out to the rest of the country in Canada till January of '43. That year, for the Academy Awards, it won Best Picture. They filmed it in Burbank in beginning the end of May '42, and then going into August. And they filmed a lot of it on the back lot in Studio 11, Warner Brothers back lot there. And I think that's where the Rick's American Cafe was. That was the site. They also used other of the Warner Brothers stages because during the war there were rules about the acquisition of building materials, so they had to make do with certain things. This is an example of Hollywood's myth-making factory at its finest. We're going to peel away the layers on some of this. Just as an example, the two leads didn't get along too well. There were issues, and they didn't talk much unless they had to. But the bottom line is they were both astounding actors, and they made it work. But she was a little taller than him, and she had to work in her stocking feet, which didn't set too well with her. She was not unknown to romance her leading men. In this case, it didn't happen. Humphrey Bogart's wife was always nagging him. She thought he was having an affair with her. That's how good of actors they are. They just made it work, and it was executive producer Jack Warner. And as I mentioned, when it won the Best Picture, and when it did, he scooted up to the stage ahead of the director, Michael Curtiz, and whomever else. Henry Hathaway, I think, was the producer, and he got up there ahead of time and accepted the award, which didn't set too well with, obviously, the people that put their hard work into making the movie. There were a lot of ironies involved. For example, this was a time where there were a lot of refugees in Europe because of the conflict and so forth. And some of these real-life refugees played German guards in the movie. Bogart was in his, I'd say, early 40s at the time, and Bergman she was about her middle 20s. And so there was an age gap there, and that's typical movies that it happens that way. The guy's older usually, and one of the most interesting characters in this thing is Dooley Wilson, piano player, the Play It Again, Sam guy. And by the way, that line, probably one of the most famous movie lines ever, was never uttered in the movie itself. Nobody said "Play It Again, Sam," but interestingly enough, he was a piano player by trade, or a drummer by trade, and they made him into a piano player, so he wasn't really playing the piano, but he did do his own singing, and that was a pretty interesting character. Another person that had a pretty good part in it was an actress named Joy Page. She played a part where she and her husband were trying to get to Lisbon, Portugal, and then on to America, and they needed paperwork to get them out of Casablanca. And she happened to be Jack Warner, the studio boss. She happened to be his stepdaughter. That might have helped her get the part. And there, Peter Lorre was in it. An English stage actor named Sidney Greenstreet. He played Ferrara, the big guy with the fez cap and the blue parrot. He was an English stage actor, and he had the year before, he had worked on The Maltese Falcon with Peter Lorre and Bogart, of course. And he'd gone on to do 20 more pictures in America, and 8 of them with Peter Lorre. So he was a pretty interesting character, great actor. And of course there was Claude Rains, just astounding. He was the Invisible Man, and he did some pictures after this, and he had a great part, just a great part there, and it all worked so well. Curtiz, the director, it was his first picture in America. He had come over from a foreign country, and he worked here, and nobody knew the ending, and Curtiz worked it out, and he came up with the right one. How he did it, I don't know, but it was, again, Hollywood at its finest. And let's see what else. What am I missing? Oh, Bogart got $36,800 for about 7 weeks' work. And Conrad Veidt, the German Nazi guy, without him there is no story. But he's probably the least famous of the leads. He got 5 weeks at 5 per. And the husband, Paul Honreid, who also didn't get along with Ingrid Bergman, he got 5 at 5, same thing. And so I don't know what Bergman got. I assume maybe a little bit more, maybe around there. So Bogey was the star, and he got the more money. There were no back end deals in those days. It would be like maybe 10 years into the future before John Wayne started getting a piece of the gross or the net or whatever, and so there were no back end deals. I don't think at that time. And again, reason that I brought it up, it just the picture has withstood the test of time. It's 8 decades old over that, and it's still good. You watch it today, it's still good. It's got everything in it, and oddly enough, you'd swear it was done in some foreign location, but it was, as I said, Warner's back lot. So that was amazing right there, what they did with that. And of course, I didn't say much about Peter Lorre, but he had a small part in this one. And initials S.Z. Sakal. He was, you can call him the bar manager, but he was sort of a factotum at Rick's Cafe there. And he had a great part. And he was friends with the producer, Hathaway, so that didn't hurt his chances any. And it just all worked so nicely. All those characters were cast just I don't know, I'd call it perfectly, and everything worked well. And I know I'm missing things here, important things, but at any rate, I hope you know more about this now that you did it a few minutes ago. I watch this picture every day for quite a while, and it's just, again, it's the Hollywood myth-making movie magic. It's how well it works when it's in gear. It's just outstanding. I recommend you still take a look at it, even though it's 8 decades old. So sign off for now on this one.